2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to FTLG Summer, and we have our first race for the event, not the last, but the first. So these two gentlemen gonna introduce the race for this event, Mr. Sawnek.
Yeah, good evening
Mr.
everyone.
Raclesis.
We're having a good
Take
time
it
so
away.
far. So far, it's been a really good event. Been really
good
evening
everyone.
everyone. We're having a good time so far. So far, it's been a really good
the
event.
meme
Been
of
really
arrangement.
and Chris, probably one of the most difficult runs I've ever had to learn. And I'm Chris, probably one of the most difficult runs I've ever had to learn. And I'm glad to be here running it.
Yeah, the Chris Arrange run is a rather reset-heavy run. For those who don't know, Arrange mode, they change all the item placements from the original mode. Enemies do more damage, you do less damage, but you have the chance to crit. So you might see some zombie heads exploding throughout the run.
Oh, absolutely. And there's going to be a lot to really talk about. It's a bit of a long run, so I'm sure we'll be able to cover it.
Biohazard.
But let me just leave this demo for a second.
Yeah, I was stuck in that for a little bit too.
But to those who haven't seen it, I know Resident Evil, especially like Jill and Chris, have both featured in their any % forms here. I think this might be the first time there's ever been a race, a marathon, for this particular scenario.
Yeah, to my knowledge, there hasn't been an Arrange race like ever. There's been one Arrange mode, a few Arrange mode runs for Jill at marathons, but nothing for Chris and nothing for races with this. So this should be fun.
Because we saw you both submitting it, so we thought we should make this a race, and here we are.
But to any kind of keen-eyed Resident Evil fan, if you've never seen this or played this before, you're definitely going to see a few things that are going to raise a few eyebrows and something that you probably haven't seen before. But overall, I think it's going to be a very interesting run. Are we jumping in from the character selection? Was it?
Yeah, we'll count down on character selection this way. We can both start the timer at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. But I'm on the character selection screen. Do you want to count us in?
Sure. You ready?
All good to go.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, Sawnek.
Good luck.
This is gonna be memes, and I'm gonna love it.
Oh, it is a brutal run. Even just from the very beginning, the first half especially, just doesn't hold back. Honestly,
not at all.
We'll cover everything. It's going to be a really good race, I think.
I don't know what happened.
First things first.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Barry, where's Barry?
How beautiful the voice
Well, I'm
It's a
sorry,
shame we can't watch
but
a lot of
he's
action
probably...
scenes.
Yeah.
But it's going to be good. And I mean, the first thing you might notice is that they're wearing completely different outfits.
What is that?
I'll go and check. Okay, Jill and I will stay in the hall in case of an emergency.
The route is completely different, but more so their costumes are
Chris?
just different from what they usually are.
Yeah, if
Chris looks a bit more like
Take
Jill.
care.
It's the playable characters that are different. So Rebecca is also has a different outfit. Barry and Wesker, unfortunately, look exactly the same.
It's a shame they never changed their outfits, really.
Yeah, I don't know why.
They're instantly starting off here to the iconic head turn zombie. First big thing is because we're playing on console, it's got the classic door scenes in it, in between each room.
Unlike the PC version, which you just skip them, this gives you a little bit of a breather between rooms.
And yeah, we're actually needed for this one, I think.
Oh yeah. You need to think of how you're going to approach some rooms. Speaking of, right at the very beginning for Chris has a room that's going to probably separate the two of us right from the get-go, the balcony.
Wesker? Jill?
We're going to be using the handgun on the first zombie, and then we're going to try to dodge past the second one. And the first zombie can go down in 1 to
Jill and
4
Wesker?
handgun shots. We're going to hope for as little as possible. Just going to grab Jill's handgun.
It does have a high percentage of crit damage of a popping a zombie. It does have a high percentage of crit. It's funny because the ammo zombie's head. Why is it here? It's funny because the ammo it's very deciding of what happens for the rest of the game here.
my first statue zombie took 5 shots. Jesus. This guy needs to go down, and he all right. There's a headshot, and unfortunately he didn't fall right away. So. I would agree with that. Mine took a little while to get there, but it also took me 5 shots to take down the first zombie, which I've never seen that kind of bad RNG before. So that's a first for me.
Whoa! What is it?
I didn't mean to do that. What? Oh!
Nice.
Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Chris
You
just
must be
shrugs
from
it
the
off,
Bravo
like, yeah,
team.
fine. Not
Yes,
crying right now.
I'm Rebecca. Rebecca Chambers. I'm a newcomer. I just joined the Stars Bravo team last month.
She doesn't explain
Well,
zero. Doesn't
I'm
explain
really
after
sorry.
4 hours, of course.
Are you all right?
Explain zero, doesn't explain.
Yes. I'm Chris Redfield from the
No
Alpha
mention of
team.
Billy, no mention of the fact
Are
that
you
she's
the
still-
only person here from the Bravo team?
What's the amount of times that we're going to be?
Well, because the helicopter made a forced landing, I just ran into this house anyway, but
Oh yeah.
I see.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing else you could have done anyway.
Once
It's
we
good
get
you're
control
here.
of Chris, we're gonna put away this handgun.
Yes, sir.
It's actually faster to use the knife throughout the majority of the run than it is
But
with the handgun.
And the one thing
it's
you will notice as well
strange.
is Chris has
I
only got
serviced
6
the
shots
helicopter
opposed to the
recently, but something went wrong with the engine. It was such a short flight. Well, what should I do now? If you go out to search for the other members, how
Right here,
Well,
she's gonna ask
what
if
should
we
I do
have
now?
to say no. If we say
If
yes,
you go out to search for the
Make
other
sure I press
members,
no there.
how about letting me come with
I've done
you?
that way too many times.
For now.
yeah,
It's
we're
really
pretty
gonna
focusing
go
for a
dangerous
second.
outside. Let me take care of it.
It's like, alright, we're doing
I
Chris 90%,
understand.
and now
For
we're
now,
doing
Just,
Vijay.
oh, does anyone in chat know what VJO
Since
is?
there are a lot of chemicals in this room, and they might be useful. Well, I'll look
Oh,
over the
yeah, it's-
chemicals.
Happy to get into the room. It's been so long.
So, with that done, we get a little bit of freedom. I mean, in the beginning of the game, we only really see Rebecca for the first, like, for Mansion 1, really, and then afterwards, she completely disappears for the rest of it. Yeah, I've never had it before until earlier today when I was practicing. The one hit me. I think I may have missed the door slightly.
I nearly got hit there.
Oh,
Range
absolutely.
was already going on.
So this is where I like to say, we're heading up to Forest. This is another arrange mode exclusive. Such a cool little thing that they've added.
Now, like, normally we'd get the, we need the armor key. Normally on our original mode it would be in the room with the plant. We use the chemical to get it. In arrange mode, it's actually by Forrest's body, so we need to go...
And I'm sure nothing's going to happen. I think we pick up the key, run out, you know, no issues or anything. Nothing at all.
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Died appropriately enough in a forest. So we're going to tank the hit from him. Oh no! That wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's faster to just tank the hit here. Alright, now this hallway we got an extra zombie than normal, and they're in different places. I'm gonna try to dodge past it without getting a bite. It's okay if we take a bite here, it's just time loss. Alright, got past it.
I'll play a little bit safe there, and I'll cancel there. So you'll see some differences with the light cancel. You tend to see it used more on PC, I think.
Oh yeah, on console it's faster to get like a dodge without it, but if if you're worried about your health, you can do the knife cancel. It's about the same time as taking a bite, maybe slightly faster than taking a bite, but it's obviously safer. Like, I'm going to be doing it a few times after I use the fast. We have a first aid spray in our inventory. We're going to be using it, and from then out, like, picking up any other healing is just pointless. Slightly more if you have to do the animation of picking it up. I'm gonna try another dodge in that hallway because we gotta go back into that U hallway again. Oh, I forgot to unlock the armor. Ah, you jerk. You got me too. That we have to dodge that zombie multiple times. I will be doing a pulse cancel the second time we do it.
Like Rack said earlier, because we've got a first aid spray on us, it's okay. Because in a moment from now, we're going to use it to empty up space in our inventory. You're going to go for the big dodge?
I'm going to try a different dodge here.
I'm going to go for the same one.
Yeah, I failed it.
That one. But it is such a good... But when it is done...
Yeah, I failed it, but... Yeah, you can either use the stairs to get a safe line out, or you can try what I did, and if you actually get it, it saves about like 3 to 3.5 seconds.
For the zombies.
But you take a bite there, it's just damage.
Thankfully, though, with the first aid spray used, I think we should put us on fairly equal footing in terms of health at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's
using the safety strat. I would actually save the first aid spray for a dodge coming up, but taking the extra bites here, I'm kind of worried, so I used it early.
And it's just one of many incidents where zombies will be stacked up. I think it's something that is pretty much exclusive to a range mode. There are many rooms with extra zombies, and they know what they're doing. Like, they fully knew what they were doing when they put this into the game, because there's not really any iframes when you get grabbed. I think, like, if you look at Resident Evil, there's not really any iframes when you get grabbed. I think, like, if you look at Resident Evil 2, you'll notice that when zombies grab you, you push them back.
Yep, this game doesn't have that. If you get bit by a zombie and there's another one in the room, it will just wait right next to you. And then the moment you push the first one off, it will grab you. And then while you're pushing that one off, the other one will come right back.
And just tank an absolute amount of damage.
I had to pause cancel past the zombie going to the piano
There's
room.
quite a few different ways. I tend to play it a little bit safe, where I kind of wait a little bit, and sometimes if you're lucky, kind of watch it happen, where he kind of starts wandering to the side and lets you kind of move over. But
yeah, I call that wallpapering. Unfortunately, Chris can't read, so these
He's just like, what are these buttons? I've never seen a keyboard like this before. What are these buttons? I've never seen a keyboard like this before.
It's me, Chris.
But while this cutscene's going on, I want to also highlight another point of a range mode, in that this mode has some zombies that move twice as fast as normal. Like, we're gonna go into a room and mention one where you see one zombie walking normal speed and the other one
near enough
just
sprinting
moving to almost 3 times the speed.
Near enough sprinting at you.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying, and that does affect dodging from at least for me, for one zombie in Mansion 2.
Oh, Gordon Ramsay.
Good old Gordon Ramsay. I can never seem to get that
I don't want to speak
dodge.
anything into existence, but it can be a bit awkward, especially with how fast and they make him extra strong in a range mode, don't they? Especially how fast and they make him extra strong in a range mode, don't they?
Yes, they do extra damage in a range mode. If you run Jill in a range mode, it's 3 bites and you're
Like,
dead.
to compare, like in kind of standard vanilla any percent, you can kind of let a zombie grab Jill and not mash any buttons. Another choice here, gotta say yes. I think if you press no, nothing really, like the cutscene goes on for a little bit longer, and they ultimately decide, okay, well, you gotta play the piano.
Yeah. Rebecca just ignores you. It's like, yeah.
I just imagine though if the game just soft locked you. Okay, fair enough then. You don't get the item. Just imagine though if the game just soft locked you. Okay, fair enough then. You don't get the item.
Alright, one thing you're also going to notice is we're going through a lot of the same rooms over and over again. Chris's run in the range mode in particular has
I've always called it a very chaotic like routes, because whereas with Jill and even any of the other runs, you'll tend to kind of clear out certain areas or certain kind of wings of the mansion. Here you're going back and forth constantly.
Right, by one of the first jump scares of the game. Doggo! Yeah. I'm gonna try to take this next, not this room coming up, but the next room a little safe. Because one thing that can kill your run in this are the
two
dogs.
doggos right here. They don't hold back. They, much like many of the enemies in this game, we've got to try and grab this chemical. Much like many of the enemies in this game, one of them bumped me as I started getting picking it up. That they can sometimes just completely stop you. I got out with one, and that was very lucky.
I got no bites.
Sometimes there's the animation where you go to lean down to pick up the item, and a dog can interrupt you, and what they can tend to do sometimes is they will chain hits on you. So you'll just be sat there just kind of taking these hits. Sometimes you get pretty lucky. It just isn't happening.
You're trying to pick the item up and just like, you get hit again as you're trying to go into the animation. You have to reset the room at that point. And if you try to reset the room there, a third dog comes in. Alright, so Chris's inventory really sucks, so we have to go into safe room here to put some items away.
Stuff here. Mostly just key items we're not going to use for the rest of the game. Get rid of some stuff here. Mostly just key items we're not going to use for the rest of the game.
A little slow on my end.
But you'll notice that we've pretty much done a complete circle around the mansion once we go up these stairs in a second.
I just noticed Pompado's mentioned zombies.
That absolutely has to be
talking
there
about
from now on. That absolutely has to be there. But you can see them just kind of waiting for us. And you'll notice that they kind of move on a bit of a pivot. Like you can kind of run around them and they'll kind of trace out, like track you almost.
Also, what, you're noticing there, like we're either using the handgun or the knife. We hit an enemy, we pause and unpause right away. That's an animation cancel. So I just went all the way around.
So I went to go knife cancel, and I may have messed it up a little bit. Missed it, and then got bitten from behind. But what you tend to find is you don't actually take as much damage from behind. Which I've seemingly not. I had a run earlier where I got bitten twice from behind, and I was still on fine. I was on like yellow fine at that point. Which leads me to believe that I don't know if it's confirmed, but absolutely missed that emblem. But it definitely feels like you take less damage when you're being bitten from behind.
I know you can't die from like a floor bite, but I don't know if like that or like how you get bit affects your damage. I'll have to look into that because that's interesting if it works that way.
So we've got the emblem we need to use on the piano room, so we're heading straight back down to revisit Rebecca. Usually, I think in the Chris any percent run, you just run back and forth, don't you? You don't really do all this backtracking that we've just done. Just do like standard any percent.
In the original? Yeah, there's not much backtracking for Chris in the original. Also, I just almost ran right into the table. I think I'm gonna knife pause cancel the best this guy to guarantee my health. Oh no, it looked like he was wallpapering and I misjudged it, so I just tried it and got hit.
Very close. I was thinking, do I knife cancel there? But thankfully, he was a little nicer to me there.
Well, like he looked like he was starting to turn, but then he like just immediately turned toward me. I'm like, well, I regret this decision. Now, the reason why we're really like worried about our health right now is because when we get into the guardhouse, there's actually like vines that come up and choke you. If you get into the guardhouse on green fine, the first vine that comes up will not come up, saving you about 2 seconds. So not only do you save time in Mansion 1 by, not getting bit or anything, you save time later
And
just
plus,
because
I'd say the beginning of Guardhouse is very different to like the usual run. We kind of almost do it in reverse. What's quite interesting about it is like it's almost like this sort of gauntlet of rooms with zombies that can well and truly kind of ruin the run and very much like lower your health. So it's kind of like trying to get there with as much health as possible, because Plant 42 and his zombies beforehand can tend to be a little bit rough. That they can really take something out of damage.
If I get into the guardhouse on anything other than like yellow fine, I'm picking up herbs.
So grab the gold emblem, put in the fake one with the wooden emblem, and we're on our way out. And I think that's goodbye to Rebecca for the rest of the run. She's taken a fair bit of screen time, but nope,
yep, we will not be seeing her at all.
No idea where. Probably kicking it in that lovely little piano room. You've got the bar there. I think she's got everything she needs.
I'm glad that when my last run, I had multiple instances of thinking I'm in range to put something in. Like I just put the gold emblem in, but the last practice run I did, I think it took me 3 tries.
And that's another thing as well. A lot of the item triggers in this game can be very, very weird and slightly off, especially more so in the later game.
Yeah, like
especially more so in the later game.
Like in particular, when you get the gold emblem, you can actually be not in the correct position to put in the other emblem. Same thing with later in the guardhouse. You could take a book out of a shelf, but you might not be in place to put the book you have in, and then you have to like shift.
Again, in a game like this, it well and truly does cost you a lot of time. Especially later on, there's a particular puzzle in the caves that we'll get to eventually, and the triggers in there for the cranks are very just off, I'd say.
I feel like the creators really didn't like the hex crank. Alright, I'm about to do a really difficult dodge. I'm gonna try a really difficult dodge here.
You're gonna run around the zombie outside the chemical room. Oh, you're gonna run around the. I'm gonna give it a go as well.
Okay, got it.
Nice.
That dodge is actually much more difficult as Jill, and I'm not quite sure why. With Jill lately on the range mode, I've just been using the bazooka on that zombie. It's really not optimal, but I don't like that zombie.
Because I think with Jill, you get the benefit of having the grenade launcher, but you also need to save your rounds for the same boss that we're going to be facing fairly shortly.
Yes.
But with the spare rounds, you get to decide which zombies you kill, and people tend to go for. I mean, me and Rack were talking about this a couple of days ago, and it tends to be that people kind of change which zombies they go for, and it usually is the one that gives them the most trouble. So that zombie we just ran past, it's usually the one, I'd say.
Right. Like, it's either that or you use it in guardhouse bathroom or on the zombie directly before Plant 42. I've seen one runner use it on one of the courtyard dogs to make their courtyard 3 easier.
I've never really thought of using it there. That's actually quite interesting. I've never really thought of using it there.
The way they do that, though, is very risky. They wait for the dog to jump at them.
And in a run where you well and truly are trying to... Oh my, I just went the wrong way almost. Caught myself on that. Almost. I went straight past the stairs. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. And head straight to yawn here.
Alright, yeah, we're going to a very reset heavy part of the run, which is yawn. If yawn can be dodged, like you don't have to deal with him at all, but if he manages to tag you, that's over a minute of time loss.
Only thing I can really say to add on to that is best of luck. It can be very dodgy.
You too, man.
It can be very dodgy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet through this entire section. Okay, good.
I'm just on my way out.
I'm gonna wait
I'm just on my way out.
for. Okay,
Ooh,
good. Okay.
very close.
I was waiting for
Okay,
you
we're
to
out. Okay.
finish. I didn't want to like mess you up. Well, I did the.
What I
safe
like
strat.
about Yawn.
There's a safety strat. You can take an extra second after picking up the medallion, and that will force an early bite out of Yawn, which almost
I've always
guarantees
noticed
you getting
like,
out without
with
getting hit.
any Resi 1 runner, there are so many ways to do that Yawn dodge. I think every runner has got their own way of doing it. I don't really have to explain the way I do it. It's kind of a feel thing. I move back a couple of steps, wait for Yawn's head to kind of get stuck on the little, like the beam, I guess, and then once he kind of bobs back and forth a couple of times, that's when I'll start kind of moving. And it's a bit of a weird one, but it's kind of how I've always done it. It's definitely not the fastest. I think some people just sort of start running instantly, but
Well, I do the backup as well, and then I immediately start running. I've seen some people like go towards one of the shelves, and Yawn almost hits them on their feet, and I'm like, every time I see that, I cringe a little bit. Like I know it works, but it always looks like it's gonna hit you. Right here we're doing a puzzle. It's the cycle of life and death. You just hit the paintings in the order of life. I almost ran by the last one. Cool.
I always like how they changed this in the remake to where it's kind of similar, but it's more so you changing like the colours of the paintings to match like kind of into Lisa's storyline,
Yeah.
which to match like kind of into Lisa's storyline. So our last painting was a bit weird there with the trigger. He didn't go off there for a split second. The trigger didn't go off there.
Alright, we're gonna do a knife cancel. Pass this guy.
One other big change as well with arrange mode is with these crests. One of them has been broken in half, so that's why we've got a couple of them on us. One of them has been broken in half, so that's why we've got a couple of them on us. Or a couple of extra crests on us.
Oh no! I'm gonna get bit.
That second zombie got very close to me there. I wasn't a big fan of that. That second zombie got very close to me there. I wasn't a big fan of that.
I'm just looking at this dog. It's like, yeah, he's directly between me and the door, and he turned.
Yeah, there's always a bit
okay.
of a clencher because you speed in through the menus and you almost get like a split second and you get to see how far that dog's coming. And sometimes it gives you a little bit of time to kind of mentally prepare for if the dog's about to lunge at you.
She's just like waiting for it. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna.
Like I had one yesterday where he was kind of mid jump as I was doing it. And it's just, you know what's coming. You know he's about to hit you.
No.
You've
That's
just
always
got
the worst,
to
too.
press on. You've got to put all the emblems in and just hope.
Oh. Alright, the courtyard. One of the most
absolutely.
dangerous areas of arrange mode.
I think
These
in this
dogs
mode they
are
add
the
just a couple of
worst.
extra dogs into the mix, and they are rough.
I got caught in a corner.
There are a couple of ways that zombie I just kind of tagged there. Sometimes, depending on your movement, he can just tag you right there and then. But thankfully we got through okay. But we will be back here quite a few times in this run. Each time we need to return back and forth, and each kind of visit getting worse than the other.
Oh yeah. Like, we really can't breathe easy at all in this run until
Yeah,
after
it's strange.
Black
Like the
Tiger, I would
first
say.
half of this game is rough, and at the second half,
And-
it kind of takes it a little bit easy. Takes its foot off the gas a little bit.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah, that room right there. If there's a dog right next to that corner, you're getting a hit. Period. There's barely anything you can do about it. I think that might have just put me
Honestly,
onto.
there's quite a bit of RNG to where those dogs spawn
Caution?
as well, which is interesting. Because I guess
not
another
caution, yellow
big
flag, I
thing.
mean. Well, let's find out. Yeah. That dog tag just put me into yellow
I
fine,
think
which
I'm
means I
about
got
to
the
get it
vine.
as well. I think I might be on the yellow fine, I believe.
Also, this trigger right here for this book, there is a ink ribbon right next to it, and if you trigger,
I cannot
try
say
to
how
get
many
it
times
too
I've picked
early,
that
you'll
ink
get the
ribbon
ink
up and I'm
ribbon.
like, where is it? Where is it? I cannot see it on the screen.
Same.
Where is it? I cannot see it on the screen.
it's so small on the
Just
screen.
avoiding the spider here.
Alright, I should still be on yellow fine. Which means I think I'm good for the bathroom. If I get bit in the bathroom, I'm gonna... There's herbs right next to the bathroom.
I
You
guess
gotta
one of
push
the big
statue.
issues as well with this game in particular is that, unlike Resi 2 onwards, when you're damaged, you don't show said health. So in Resi 2, when your character's injured, he's holding his side, he's limping, danger, you're practically crawling. And here, nothing. You could be on absolute danger, and Chris running like he's on his morning jog.
Alright, I'm entering this room right here. Oh, put your knife back on, sir. This room right here destroys many of my
I
runs.
spent a good 30
bathroom.
minutes in that place yesterday. I'm hoping it pays off here. I just saw Snake with the raid as well.
Oh, I'm getting a bite. I'm getting one bite, but that's it.
Going in the bathroom now. Let's see how that goes.
That could have been worse. That could have been a lot worse.
In a bit of a strange position here. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm getting grabbed twice.
What am I at? Caution. I'm gonna...
Oh, I took 3 bites in there. That might be danger.
I'm grabbing one of these.
Just thinking, what am I on?
Oh, what, Chris? Am I? Oh my god, am I actually stuck?
The statue. Oh, what danger. Behind the statue. No
Yeah.
way.
I'm literally stuck. I was able to squeeze through to pick up an herb, but I couldn't. It wouldn't let me back out. I had to push it all the way in front
no,
of 002.
I didn't even know that was
That's awful.
That's got to be a first, right? I didn't even know that was
I got. That is a first. I was able to get behind it.
We're good.
So I just pushed it out. We're good. We're good. Oh my god, this is like, well, so, that would have been a way to win that run, huh?
I did end up picking that herb as well. After that bathroom, I was looking a bit sketchy, so I took your advice and sold that herb really quickly. Let's see if I can get out of here. Oh. And we get to plant 42. So we do this in the complete wrong order compared to how you do it in the vanilla game. Usually, plant 42 caps off the guardhouse section. Here, we fight them pretty much at the beginning. So it's almost this gauntlet of just 2 zombies in a bathroom, the book zombie, and then this dude right here who has ruined many a runs.
Oh yeah, I've never had a good plant 42 in this category. Alright, starting the fight.
So left to just a knife here, we just got to get in position and just kind of hope. I kind of messed up the position a bit. I don't like that there's so many tentacles in one area.
He hit me.
He's going to slap me about a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, he's...
That's his first phase done, which, as you would notice, kind of the first, like a lot of his tentacles drop off. Makes it a lot easier for phase 2 when he's only got 2 of them, but he can still do the rough. Nice.
I just got first phase done.
I think even with both of our kind of minor setbacks, it still could go either way here because the range mode, it doesn't let go. It just. But so compared to some of my phase 2s there.
Oh
no!
I'm getting memed on phase 2.
My phase 1 was a.
There we go.
My phase 1 was a.
That was
a bit
really
messy.
unfortunate.
Because there's 2 different ways he can hit you, or 3 technically. I think he can hit you normally. That won't do much. Then he'll knock you, as you saw probably happened to both of us there. And then a third way where acid will drop down.
Funnily enough, that big slap and the little slap can't actually kill you. That acid can kill you. He can also grab you and pick you up. That can kill you, but if it's not... Yeah, if you're not in kill range, you
massive
just
time
back
losses,
down.
like getting knocked over across the room. I think even in my most recent PB, the same thing happened where there was at least a couple of times where I'm getting knocked across the room by plant 42. here we are at the lovely box pushing room. No enemies to deal with here. Thankfully, just a breather in
Chris,
what is
please.
otherwise a very intense run. I think, like we said at the beginning, you know, the doors make it a bit more chill. But in a range mode like this, I think you're mostly just thinking, okay, what am I doing next? How am I going to survive this? Yeah, I'm absolutely.
I'm picking up both herbs. I don't know
grabbing
about
those
you.
herbs. Yeah, I'm absolutely grabbing those herbs.
I think we're like, you're definitely ahead of me now. Like,
Yeah,
I
I think it's
think,
fair. I think it's fair.
we're still pretty close because we're both in
think,
box room right now.
I ended up grabbing the extra herb.
I need that me getting.
Honestly,
stuck behind
I
the
don't
statue
think I've ever
cleanse
heard of
at
that
some
ever
point.
happening before. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard of that ever happening before. And of course, it's going to happen at a marathon, right? If anything. And of course, it's going to happen at a marathon, right? If anything.
And what's great about this, look, in the OG run, you would come down here before the Plant 42 fight. So if Plant 42 messed you up, then you're like, well, I don't have... Well, you have some healing you can pick up on the way out, but it's just more convenient this way.
So we've got the sharks here. There's an Eagle mentioned in the rebirth mode on the DS. The DS version is great. I think that was my go-to when I was, you know, a lot younger playing it on car journeys. And rebirth is, it's been such a long time since I've played it. I can't say whether it's as brutal as this, but I know that there are some very rough rooms in that one.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they hit.
And I said earlier, like, we still can't breathe easy because we got to deal with Mansion
non-stop
2.
back-to-back kind of the memory for a little bit. Like non-stop back-to-back kind of the memory for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, so that key is near enough invisible. I almost missed it for a second there. So one little cool thing about this game, so the release of this, of the Director's Cut, came after Capcom decided to scrap the original version of Resi 2. You might hear it and know it as Resi 1.5, but essentially they decided to re-release the Director's Cut shortly after as kind of a way of saying sorry, I guess. Throwing on a very early demo of Resi 2 at the time. Throwing on a very early demo of Resi 2 at the time. See
So we got a
Wesker
cutscene
once
coming
again.
up.
See Wesker once again.
Perfect time to get some water in.
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly.
It's also a perfect time for our host to talk about why we're doing this in the first place, if they'd like.
You're alive. You were attacked by a strange
My words
monster.
exactly.
I lost track of her while we were scouting around.
Where's Jill?
I hope she's
Are you
okay.
with Jill?
I'm sorry.
I see.
We were attacked by
It's
a
not your
strange
fault.
monster.
This place is crazy.
Lost track of
It's always the worst when you hear on, like, you've lost a lot of time on, like, say, Plant 42 or in Guardhouse in general, and you're just watching the splits go up during this cutscene, and you're like, come on, guys, can we not just wrap this up just a little faster, please?
What
It
should we
feels
do?
like Wesker starts speaking even slower, and you're like, no,
We
please,
have to
I've got to
complete
get
this
out of the
mission.
guardhouse already. Please.
Whether we escape or stay and look for Jill, we don't have many bullets left, and we can't even protect ourselves. There must be a... We're still in
I can tell
trouble.
you that we are raising money for a travel project
Chris,
during this
there are a lot of
marathon.
locked rooms in that
It's
house.
from today until
Check them out
Sunday.
one more time.
And they work out
There
the
must be a
outcome.
place to hide safely.
LGBTQ
I'll look around the
youth
house a little
crisis,
more.
ensuring that they move around.
Okay.
So to donate,
Let's get going.
just click the donate panel or use exclamation donate in chat. They can also say to you, Rack, that your statue shenanigans have been clipped.
Nice. No, because no
I've
one
got to
is
check
gonna
this
believe
clip
me
out
when I
afterwards,
say it.
because I'm very interested in seeing it. I can just imagine, like, I'm assuming, like, as you pushed it, like, Chris just kind of just decided, no, you know what, I'm fine here, I'm not...
He literally like clipped between like
Yeah.
like you know how you would do quick crank with Jill. He something like that happened with Chris, and he just wouldn't
He
be
was like,
able
he got
to
in,
clip
and I guess
back
it's like,
out.
because I don't think you can do quick crank with Jill on arrangement, but I've noticed people don't tend to do it with Chris. Is it not possible with Chris?
You can't do it with Chris, unfortunately. He's too wide. His hitbox is slightly bigger than Jill's, so he actually can't do quick crank. So this key we got is going to open up some rooms in the mansion. Let's go. So we're going to go in there.
And I mean, that guy Wesker with his sunglasses, I'm sure he's fine. You know, he's really just guy than us. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, totally trustworthy.
Absolutely. And I'm sure the mansion's going to be absolutely fine as well. Nothing new there. Exactly.
We've already been around most of it. It's fine.
We know the zombies are in there. We know the enemies are about.
Oh, I started to turn like I was thinking of room ahead.
I do that a lot in the basement.
And almost ran into the wall.
Oh yeah, that he does.
Also, Chris teleports here. He also walks way too far
put
past
that
the
on
radio.
the fact that he got pepper sprayed a little while ago, and he's just a little bit off right now. It's a bit like in that piano room. He's like, Rebecca, is that you?
Yeah.
It's like 2 foot in front of him, just. But here we have the lovely hunters. Just as terrifying in this game is maybe a bit more terrifying in a remake. But I remember the first time I played this, they had me stuck here for a good little while.
Oh yeah, they were the worst.
When you get to
casually.
caution. Yeah, for the most
Thankfully,
part,
in
you
the
just kind
speedrun,
of avoid
they're not too
their
bad.
claw. You'll just see. Yeah, for the most part, they'll go for like a little swipe, and as long as you time it right with your line, with your movement, you just slip straight past them. As long as you time it right with your line, with your movement, slip straight past them.
Yeah, every hunter in this game is left-handed, so you can use that to your advantage to get around them. Same thing with Tyrant. Tyrant's also left-handed.
Don't know about Umbrella and left-handed people, I suppose. I mean, that's. Don't know about Umbrella and left. So going to use this key.
All right, now we're coming up on a somewhat stressful boss
All
fight
about
if
your positioning
if you
on
don't
this
set
one.
it up right.
And thankfully, the flooring,
Yawn
with the way it's
too.
laid out, we can kind of utilise the flooring.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to explain. I guess we'll probably talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Good fight.
Good fight.
Almost messed that one up there. With the
Yeah, there we're positioning ourselves so that when Yawn gives us that first bite, we're in the perfect position to get a few swipes on him, and then if we hit him with an upswing, he will not go down on the ground, which will allow us to get more effect, like better swings on him because the knife hits him in multiple frames.
And thankfully, you can just use a certain spot on like the kind of checkered floor there, but it can be a bit awkward because if you do mess it up, then kind of like what Rack mentioned, he lays down on the floor and you can only like kind of singular jab him at that point with the knife. You can't really just get the multi hits.
Yeah.
Ooh,
If Yawn lays down during the fight,
so yeah, it's all about the positioning and making sure that you get him in a way to where you can get those big like, hits on him. It's a bit like Resi 2 remake in a way, I guess, with the way the knife works. Like just kind of maximising the damage output.
Yeah. Alright, so here we're going to be going into the library, which is another heavy reset point for Chris in general, but also for Jill if the zombies are particularly
Thankfully,
big
you have to
old
deal
jerks.
with the grenade launcher here. I've noticed the grenade launcher can be really weird with the bookshelves.
Yeah.
So I tend to try and knife him because I've just had way too many experiences where he just munches me. So I go with kind of a weird angle there and just... Sometimes you can kind of do the same thing that we did with Yawn where you just kind of knife to the side. Sometimes you can kind of do the same thing that we did...
Oh my god, the
No,
second
really?
zombie made it over here.
Oh, dude, no.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Dude, no.
I was just trying to push, like, I thought I was on
dude, that's
higher health.
unfortunate.
Oh my god.
But, I mean, it's... Oh,
Well, I guess we're doing a Sawnek run with me
dude,
doing
that's
commentary.
unfortunate, man. I'm sorry, dude. That room, I mean, it's no joke. It really is rough. It's. I can't. I mean, I can't say how many runs I've lost in that library right there.
I'm just gonna go into there. I don't know if we can. Hold on. I wonder if there's a way I can look at your stream.
Could try.
while doing
I
this.
don't know if it'd be a great view. I could try and stream my OBS for you. Could try. I don't know if it'd be a great view. I could try and stream my OBS for you. But I'll give that a go in a second.
Hold on. There's one thing that I'm known for when doing races in Resident Evil. It's choking them, and that
To
was
be
probably
honest,
the
I-
biggest choke I've ever had.
I was expecting to be choking.
I thought I had
probably
more
still
health.
will, to be fair, because we still got a bit of this run left, and it is rough. But honestly, it is very unfortunate. But kind of like we've been saying throughout a lot of the run, Chris Arrange mode is very unforgiving. Even in times where you just think that you've gotten away and you're out, that's when it gets you.
I've never had that zombie aggro.
You said it was the second, because there's like,
That's
if
never
I remember
happened
right, there's
before.
3 zombies in there. Isn't there?
There's a zombie on each end. Yeah, there's a zombie on each end of the bookshelves, and then there's one dead in the middle. And he must have like wandered close enough to where he did aggro while I was knifing the first one. So like I pushed him away, and I'm like, okay, I've already pushed the shelf once. I'm gonna push it a little bit, like push it again, and get through. I pushed it, tried to turn
I've gotta
towards the door, and he
rewatch that,
grabbed
'cause
me and killed me.
It sounds like Umbrella and paying them off, to be honest with you. That's so unlikely. That never happens. And it's it's the marathon RNG, isn't it? It kind of kicks in. And the things that you've never seen in the game in hundreds of hours suddenly pop right up.
Like, I've been running this game for 4 years. That's first. Like, so many firsts.
Pretty much on our way out of the mansion now.
So right now you're at like a somewhat chill spot. After the zombie dodge in the kitchen, it's mostly just making sure you have good lines until you get back to the courtyard, and then you just need to pray, because those dogs can do exactly what those zombies just did to me. They can stun lock you as you're trying to put the battery in. They can stun lock you as you're trying to get off
It is
of the
brutal,
elevator.
and there's a lot of RNG to it with their positioning, I find. I'm
It's
definitely
like
going to grab
this-
the screen hurt, but I'm caution at the moment. Took a bit of an unnecessary hit with your
Oh yeah,
two
definitely grab it.
there.
One of us needs
With
to
that
finish.
particular hunter, I think if I remember right, if you take the line too well, he swipes you, doesn't he?
You just need to make sure you're going on.
Yeah.
You're dodging him on the right side, the
So
correct side.
another hunter
that
out
is.
here as well.
So,
Pretty much on our way out of Mansion 2, but it won't be the last we see of these lovely green guys here. Couple of them.
there's a
waiting
couple of
there
them in
for
the
us.
underground, but they're really like I said. After courtyard, like the underground is a little chill. Black Tiger can be annoying, but like from there to Tyrant, like it's. I'm not gonna say completely free, because there's one zombie dodge in the labs that can get
100%,
really
and even the tyrant sometimes, like if you mess up the positioning, you're a bit nervous on a PvP pace. Sometimes he gets loose, and he just that happened to me earlier. He just went into me there, but.
For anyone tuning in now, I have unfortunately died, so it doesn't matter at this point. Sawnek has won the
But
race.
honestly, GG's man. I was expecting. I was expecting to die very early on. Took a bite there. Just kind of what you were saying earlier about those dogs and the line, and he is straight on there. Oof. Sometimes you just get the one dog. And
Oh yeah, that
you can get around it. But
When you get off the elevator, if there's a dog right that corner, it doesn't matter how well your line is. You're gonna get bit by either that dog or the dog next to it. Like, and then when you go up the elevator, there's 3 dogs in a line, and their
What's
movement is random.
going
so
on with those
approach
dogs?
that
They
room
did
will
not even
always
react
be
to me.
random.
That is a first, and he's run away from me. Okay.
I'm looking at the. I'm having to watch through the stream, and that was that was like the perfect
I've noticed that
RNG
there's-
for those dogs. because the first dog, if the first dog turns away from the elevator, you can just.
And there's
run.
quite a few, like, when you're going up, you have a few seconds to kind of see what they're doing, which gives you some time to kind of decide on what line you're going to do, but even then, so sometimes they can really grab you there. What I'll try and do, when we get to Enrico, I'll throw it on Discord, and hopefully there'll be less of a delay there. But two more rooms.
Yeah, on the way out from. Yeah, on the way out, after using the crank, the dogs are in a more static location, so you can take a specific.
It's just that
line
room
to
before
get
that.
past all of
When I
them.
was learning dual arrange mode, I was a little bit cocky with it. I was like, yeah, I'll be okay. That room humbled me very quickly with Courtyard 3. The sheer amount of dogs and their patterns and everything, it just.
Yeah, like you need to
100%.
like respect arrange mode, because as you all saw earlier, like it'll just throw things. Yeah, it's not a race anymore. It's Dave. I died.
Arrange mode claiming another victim.
It was a race.
It was a very close race.
I think it was a pretty
I'm very
close
interested
race.
to go back and watch the VOD.
I think it was
because I think you got I think you said you had a 6 shot on the balcony, whereas I got 2. But from the sounds of it, you got quite far ahead of me, so I definitely got to see.
I think I was ahead until I got stuck behind the statue, and then we were about. I think I was just slightly behind at Plant 42, and then the first time I've ever seen second zombie aggro in the
Which is
the
like
library
two
killed
things we've just never seen before it runs. Which is like two things we've just never seen before.
I thought my health was good enough to take at least 2 bites, and then I would need to grab an herb on the way out from the mansion.
Bye, Enrico. Bye, Enrico.
Anyway, there's Enrico, and he just died, unfortunately. What's really nice about arrange mode for Chris is that the hex crank is actually on Enrico's body. In the original mode, they put it.
I was watching a run
2
recently
hunters
and saw that very room, and that room, like between these 2 hunters, he got a little hit on me just because my line wasn't the greatest. But what's interesting, or one little theory I've got is a lot of things in arrange mode seem very similar to what would end up being in the 2002 remake. So Enrico holds the crank in that, and the chemical that we grabbed in Mansion 1 also outside, amidst some other things here and there. So it almost feels like maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe they were kind of using it to route it out while they developed it, potentially. But there's a few similarities.
Also, right there is the last. Well, not the last we'll see of hunters. We're gonna see one more hunter, but they're almost free dodges in this area. And as we were talking about this earlier, the triggers for the crank in the underground are so small that even like experienced runners.
Absolutely, and there's one coming up in about maybe 5 minutes or so. That is, I'm expecting for it to go a bit. To be a bit of a meme. You're going to see the position I'm going to take to try and get it done. It's past my bedtime.
I've had plenty of runs where I'm just like, no, I'm not in the right position. Shift a little bit,
You
still
just
not
feel
there.
it. You're just
shift
seeing
a
the
little bit,
time
still
save
not
going.
there.
You're like,
God damn
please,
it.
just work. So this is what started off Chris's lifelong hatred of boulders, coming to an absolute end in Resi 5 when he finally faced his fears and took one out himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget the...
Don't
I
forget
did that the other day when I was practicing. I got there and I'm like, oh, hold on, my inventory's looking a little light here.
I've seen recent runners like
I have
even
it in
just
my
doing
notes
regular
on-
Chris runs. Forget that. Also, we got Plant 42 in arrange mode is different in that your knife barely does any damage to the webs, so we rely solely on Black Tiger's spit to get rid of it. It can go anywhere from 3 spits to about like I'd say average
sometimes it'll
about
take
4
a
or
couple of
5.
layers off, but you mostly looking at like trying to avoid getting poisoned or even hit by it, which happened to be earlier. And
Yeah. At least with a Chris arrange, you go to the save room directly after,
already waiting for it.
which has a blue herb and a fast in it.
I'm
So
gonna be
if you do
saying
get
that.
hit, yes. So
Just
if you
does that a
do
little
get
bit.
hit,
I've probably got enough rounds to take out Tyrant, but I'm always a little bit paranoid, so I take an extra magazine. I think that's something that you guys.
taking the extra magazine is, I would say, crucial in a marathon. because Tyrant can die anywhere from 8 shots to 15 shots with the handgun. Like we were talking about at the beginning of the run with the whole crit damage. You don't always have a chance to crit, but it's like, well, you don't always crit with each shot. I mean, so Tyrant can go either faster or slower depending on how lucky you are. And the least amount of shots that I've seen Tyrant.
I know in our luck it's going to be the full 15 today. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, the last practice run that I did, it took the full 15. So I'm like, if I didn't grab the, like, if you're going for world record in this, you can save like a second or two by leaving the clip behind. But if he takes all your, like, you do use some of the clip, like some of the initial clip in Mansion 1. So if he doesn't die in whatever you have in that handgun,
he'll make sure to let you
dead.
know. You'll get a very nice free-hit combination on you. That is, like with the 3 cranks there, if you're not paying attention, if you're like me and you're on some tangent, there's a high chance you might do it a 4th time and completely ruin the run. But here we are, the Nightmare Room, the true final boss of this game. Here we are, the Nightmare Room, the true final boss of this game.
You get the fabled 7 crank.
Just a little bit, and what it's going to do is it's going to kind of push it here. Just a little bit. If you're playing casually, usually you're going to push it in front of this block. Oh, I missed that a little bit. That's okay. But that allows us to kind of push it without doing the crank, bringing the wall back inwards, and then having to kind of move the statue about. Not going to forget the blue book. That's why we've triggered the boulder as well. And we trigger it right before we leave, or before we enter this room, just so we can kind of skip. Oh, we'll come out and it's clear, I guess, the hallway. Oh, we'll come out and it's clear, I guess, the hallway.
So I'm gonna say for future marathon like races or whatever, I need to make like emulator saves because I don't have any emulator saves. I just kind of whenever I do emulator runs, I just kind of go.
I've got an overly excessive amount of saves, but I do that for most of the games. I don't know. I think most people would do segmented, like kind of maybe do a whole run or something. Whereas I'm just sitting there redoing like that bathroom we had earlier. It didn't go very well, unfortunately, for me. But I did practice that for about 20-30 minutes the other day. So here we are putting these. Oh, slightly missed that.
Also, if I were you, I'd grab a green herb before going down.
No, he's gone. He's gone. I really should have, to be honest. I really should have. Well, we're on caution right now, so it's a little bit like, oh god, like I'm gonna put the faith in the RNG here. Probably shouldn't.
Oh, you're good at this game. You can get that dodge, and there's an herb directly after those zombies. So.
Got to watch out for the vomiting zombies. That's true.
Yeah. If all else fails, too, you can go into
That's very true.
Gas room, get the red herb, go into the save room,
really
get the green herb, and get a full heal.
Like they really did go out of their way to change a lot of elements of this game. But they didn't. The lab is significantly shorter on worst ending here. Obviously, because we're doing worst ending, we don't need to do the ammo discs. We're not fighting Teleport Tyrant. We don't need to do the puzzle.
There's also the placement of the enemies in here is much more advantageous to a run because in original mode you have a very difficult dodge we call the Ron Jeremy dodge, and then you have the chimeras in not very good spots. Here, they're as long as your lines are good, you're fine because they're a little bit more difficult to deal with in original.
Yeah.
And in the original, you have to use the computer.
And you don't have to unlock anything.
You
just
range mode.
Straight to the power room, to the back, grab the battery, and then we're out pretty much. And it's just strange to me because with the cave, there's not much you can do with it. There's not much you can do to remix it. It's fairly linear, I'd say. But the lab, there's loads of things they could have done it. I think maybe they just ran out of ideas and they're like, just get out there already. But it makes it easy for us, though.
Are you gonna grab the? Are you gonna go into the save room and grab the green herb before
I'm thinking of doing it just in case.
I said one of us needs to finish. I probably would.
So I almost missed that there. Grabbing the battery. Oh, I just went slightly over the line there, unfortunately. But
one thing that's great about range mode is they put the battery in a. I'm not gonna say it makes sense here, but in original they put the battery
they really was
directly
scratching
next
their
to
heads
where
on
it
that
needs
one.
to
They're
be
like, where can we put this?
used.
They really was scratching their heads. We're just on our way out. One more Chimera to deal with. Just on our way out. One more Chimera to deal with. Oh, he's
that
ruined one of my
one's killed
places quite
some runs
recently.
for me.
Okay, we're okay. I think I'm definitely going to grab that herb just in case. A bit paranoid now. I'm definitely going to grab that herb just in case.
Yeah.
A bit paranoid now.
Also, that room with the Chimera, you can pre-turn and go the other way, and I'd find that's a little
Probably in
safer.
this corner here. Just in case, because we've got enough ammo. But you know what? We can't go wrong with that. I think I'll wait until we get to Torrent and then I'll use it at the same time. I think I'll wait until we get to Torrent and then I'll use it at the same time.
Also, random tangent. This room has flame rounds for Jill that are right next to a ink ribbon. In a best ending run, long time ago, that ink ribbon killed the world record run for me.
No.
I accidentally I tried to pick up the flame rounds too early, picked that up, and
It's
that
just sad about ink
just
ribbons.
put it
They're meant to
over.
save your game, and there's that instance that you just mentioned. There's the guardhouse with the red book. I'm surprised that didn't happen to me. I was kind of hoping it would, so I could show it off. But now we're at what I can only describe as an MGS style cutscene. It goes on for a fair bit. I usually use this to go grab a drink or use the bathroom or something. This is a great cutscene for it.
Yeah. Stay hydrated. What's funny is for Jill 100% or best ending, I mean, the cutscene goes a lot
Yeah,
longer. For Chris, it's shorter.
It's like Barry knocks
best
out
ending.
Wesker, isn't it? And then Barry knocks out Wesker, isn't it?
Yeah, in Chris's best ending, like halfway through the conversation, he just shoots Rebecca.
Even
and brings
Wesker's
you
there,
into
like,
the
all
scene
right,
with
let's
that.
hurry this up a little bit. Even Wesker's there, like, all right. But somehow the guy in all black with the sunglasses, wearing them at night time, he turns out he's the villain. I couldn't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. I'm just discovering
What?
this now.
No way.
I honestly can't believe it. I'm just discovering this now. No,
Question,
I'm definitely
are you
not.
gonna
I
try
cannot,
quick
for
shoot?
some reason, quick shoot on this. What I am going to do, though,
Alright. It's rough.
definitely is.
It's rough on PlayStation. I'll
what I
agree
might
there.
do, I think what I tend to do is I aim down, and I find maybe it's not a thing, but I find that Chris shoots faster when he's aiming down. Maybe it's not a thing, but I find that Chris shoots faster when he's aiming down.
I think his animation's just slightly faster when he aims down. That's why runners do it. I just did it because other runners did it. But I'll tell you this right now: if you start that too early, you might miss. When practicing for this, my very last run, I missed Tyrant
Oh
because
no!
I shot the floor because I set myself up too early. Like I didn't get to the correct
Let's
position
skip
and
this
started firing
FMV
too
where
early
Chris
and
is wearing his other outfit. I guess I forgot to change that, but that's
What?
okay.
Right. Before the fight, I'm gonna quickly explain quick shooting. If you fire and then you hit aim at an exact frame, you can fire again before the animation is finished, therefore doing more damage. It can be done on any of the weapons.
I didn't know
You
that.
can
That's
even
actually
quick shoot the
quite
rocket launcher.
interesting. Funnily enough, it's a
Yeah. It's
a
a
weird
pain in the
quirk.
ass to do that.
Seems to be in every OG Resident Evil game. I know, as far as I know, it's definitely in 2, it's definitely in 3. And it's definitely a glitch Capcom didn't intend to have, but somehow managed to get it in all 3 games in the trilogy. I think even Remake 1 has it. In fact, it
Yeah.
definitely has it.
I think I've never tried quick shooting in Remake 1. I've done like Chris's.
It's reversed.
shotgun.
It's like usually you're mashing aim, holding fire, but in Remake you kind of hold and aim, and then you're not quite mashing action. You're more so. It's like to a weird rhythm. I've found.
Yeah, I think in Remake you also like move slightly forward, as well. Like if your
you can do the pump
your
cans
shotgun's in
and
a
stuff.
specific like way with.
But
Chris.
here we are, Final Tyrant, the ultimate bioweapon. Here we are, Final Tyrant, the ultimate bioweapon.
Can't kill me.
Oh, that's not very nice. I'm gonna just run over here and just... Okay, we'll pretend that went a little bit better than it did. But danger, one hit in a dream. I need to give that fight a practice there, because that...
Oh no.
I used to be able to do it really well. What you want to do is you really want to line yourself up in a certain position behind Wesker's body. And what you'll find is a tiring gets stuck. But I think if you're slightly off, which I was very much, I think I overshot that line quite a bit.
Yeah, if your positioning is slightly off, he'll just turn, because the damage keeps him like walking towards you against that key. But if you're like just slightly too far from him, he'll go around towards you. But if you're closer, just slightly closer, then he'll keep trying.
And you'll see he went for his one. I thought on that second barrage of attacks, I thought I was going to die if I didn't grab that green herb, which I was kind of thinking about. I'm so glad I took your advice there, because that would have went very wrong. I'm so glad I took your advice there, because that would have went.
Yeah, again, I apologize for my the rough library and dying during the run, and not having like a backup save to continue. That's on me. The other games that I'll be running in the marathon will have like saves made throughout the run.
But I think I cannot stress just how rough this run can be. It really, well and truly could have happened to either one of us. And I think even like with this run, like Tyrant was quite rough. There were a few stages there where it was looking a bit shaky, and I if, you know, on a PB pace, I never would have grabbed a lot of those safety heals, but absolutely need to in a run like this, I'd say. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're both well beyond. Like well beyond.
It'll be interesting to see what time this ends up being.
And like, if you look at the boards right now, our times are only like a few seconds apart.
Yeah, well, like they're very, very close.
Yeah, I know you got a PB earlier. My PB unfortunately has 30 seconds of video just missing. So
like technically, you definitely like you still have
don't know what happened
spot
there.
quite a bit. It's just that like, I mean, we know that it's just unfortunate that the OBS, because OBS did that to me recently. I think it's got something against the range mode. Maybe it's more of a remake then, perhaps.
Yeah. Maybe it's more of a remake. I will say I'm glad that one of us finished and underestimate, or at least near estimate, because I'm looking at your stream right now and you're doing the flare at like 5:0.
I'll be interested to see what that ends up. I mean, IGT tends to be maybe like 10 seconds behind, but I know behind real time. But I know that we started the timer like just a tiny bit earlier, just for like convenience. But with the flare fired, we're done. No survivors. Rebecca's, for all we know, she's chilling in the piano room. And Jill, yeah, she's still practicing. Jill's chilling in a cell. But we're out of here. Number one. Well, we don't know where Barry is.
We don't know where Barry is. We don't know.
And that'll be time. Probably should have gave a bit more of a run up there, but that'll be time. End of the run there. Very brutal.
Alright, and that was Chris Arrange mode. This run will kill.
I'd say out of every speedrun I've done, this is probably the most challenging, I'd say. It does not hold back in any way, shape or form. A room that you're comfortable in, a room that you've practiced, you'll do a run, all that practice will go out the window, zombies will just do things they've never done before, like we've seen in this run, like you had with the library zombies.
Like I've never seen that second zombie aggro ever. Like even
but here we are with the only live action cutscene we cannot skip. But I mean, why would you want it? I mean, these live action cutscenes are gold. They are absolute gold. But no, GG's, man. Honestly, it was a really good race. Really close as well. It's just unfortunate that the game.
GG, dude. Really close as well. up until that fatal.
Which now that it's happened, it's almost like it's just come into existence. I guarantee you that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen to me. To be fair, next. I was going to say that's like a zombie just floating about nearby. But no, honestly though, GG's.
Yeah. Like I know that zombies hit me in Jill because I was getting really like ballsy in a Jill run.
That run with Jill was even worse as well. At least for me, like the hitboxes with the shelves are like slightly misaligned with the actual background. So sometimes you'll fire an acid round and you'll see like it hits the zombie but nothing happens. It takes no damage and they grab you.
They can tank the acid rounds. Unfortunately, it's rare, but they can do it. I've noticed it happens
And
more in a
it
range
tends
mode
to
than
be
it does on
quite a lot.
OG.
That's why I've not gone to jail in a while, to be fair. But no, GG's, man. It was honestly a very good race. I think for a first arrange mode Chris race ever at an event. Exactly, it showed the
definitely
highs,
showed
the
off how the
lows,
category can
and
be.
all of the memes in between. Questions. I think I reckon it's going to be a 105. I don't know if we're going to stick around and see the end time because it is after the credits and there's like a post-credit scene. But I'll leave that up to you guys. But no.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's anyway. I will see you all tomorrow for a couple runs later in the day, and as well on
5
Sunday.
runs, which
I'm
is
doing
really
5 runs
impressive,
for this marathon. So
I will be back tomorrow.
yeah.
Pretty much about 12 hours from now. I'm going to be running Resident Evil 2 with Snake, who raided earlier during the race. I'm going to be we're doing Leon B. He's doing the remake. I'm going to be running the original. It's going to be very interesting to see the two side to side. That'll be 12 hours from now.
Alright. And thank you for having us on FTLG, and I hope you
Absolutely,
guys
yeah,
enjoy
thanks
the
so
rest of the runs for today.
Absolutely, yeah, thanks so much.
We can blame this death on the statue. I think that was a good.
Turns out the statue was behind every event in the series, it turns out. The statue was behind every event in the series. So you're behind all of everything. But here we are, the post-credit scene before it became popular. I would have loved to have seen like an alternative take if, Torrent's still alive and kicking and he just runs off into the sea. And how that would have changed the timeline. But we'll see the IGT here shouldn't be too far off from, that's like 105.16, so 1 minute, 1 second from a PB. Which, I'll take it. I mean, like we've said, this run is brutal, it doesn't hold back. And hopefully we put on a good show for you guys.
Yeah, underestimate. So, yay!
Yay.
But no, thank you so much for having us on.
See the end as well, so that's good.
I need to go tend to something. I need to go tend to something in real life right now, so I will see you
Take
all
care,
later.
dude.
Thank
All
you
the
all for
best for
having
the
me,
rest
and
of
I'll
your
see you all tomorrow for Clock Tower 3 and Saga Frontier.
Thank you. Guys.